Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Euractiv and to this event this morning, Transformative Power of Investment, Unlocking Opportunities Across European Regions. My name is Jack Parrock from Euractiv. I'm delighted to be here this morning to moderate our event. It will be about somewhere in the region of an hour and 15 minutes, perhaps we'll go on to. We've got some great speakers and we're going to dig into some of the really important topics, specifically around public-private partnerships in the European Union and how they affect the regions. A big welcome to everybody who is joining us online. It's great to see you all here this morning as well. This is a Euractiv event, but also alongside with Amazon, and we're delighted that they are joining us. So let's start this event with a keynote speech coming from Rocco Breuniger, who is the Vice President, Country Manager for Germany and the European Union expansion countries at Amazon. So Rocco, please, the floor is yours. A round of applause, yeah.
Years ago, Belgium, Sweden, Netherlands, Poland. This year we just launched Ireland as well. I'm actually with a company, with Amazon, more than 19 years. And when I started at Amazon 19 years ago, it was like a small corporate office in Munich, and we had one logistics center in Germany. And yeah, by now we have more than 100 locations, including 4 R&D, research and development centers in Germany alone. Sort center, fulfillment center, distribution center, and corporate offices in Berlin, in Munich, of course, and in Hamburg. And the level of investment and growth has just been incredible, and it has been so great to watch how we invest in different regions. And I'm actually not here to talk much about Germany, more talking about Europe and our investment in Europe. And I'm actually here to tell a little bit a story of renewal and hope, and where business and communities work together. So in order to do that, though, I'm also going to throw a couple of numbers, a couple of figures at you, because I think they're important. In 2024 alone, in Europe, we invested 55 billion euro. And that is contributing, or that has contributed 41 billion of GDP. Indirectly, we supported 630,000 jobs, and that is in construction, in logistics, in infrastructure, and many, many other areas, also with SMEs, of course. And if you look further in the European Union, specifically within the European Union, we invested 38 billion, and those 38 billion created or supported 29 billion in GDP. We employ within the European Union 150,000 people directly, and additional 450,000 indirectly through our service partners, through our small and medium businesses that we support delivering to customers. But these are just numbers. These are big numbers, but these are just numbers. What is actually important is what stands behind them, and that is the impact, the human impact that stands behind it. I just said, like, we have in Germany right now, and also in other countries, many fulfillment center, logistics center, and every time I go there and I visit and I speak to the people, I learn something new, and I learn how great it is, how Amazon, by investing in those regions, in those areas, in those cities, in those villages, how we actually also change life, and how we change the life of those people, how they start now building a home, how they think about starting a family, or how they come home from having spent some time somewhere else, and now the opportunity is there to actually also come home and develop their life and start their life there again. So these are stories about real people, about real families and communities with new hope and new future. Another important thing, apart from the investments and the impact we have, is also where do those investments actually go? So where do we employ and where do we invest? So more than half, in fact 90,000 people alone, are actually, of our employees, are actually employed in regions that are lagging in employment rate, and they are lagging a little bit behind. So we invest especially in those areas with higher than average unemployment rate to support them. And let me start giving you a couple of those examples. Let's start with France. The North Pas-de-Calais was once a prosperous region known for mining, textile, and other industries, steel, but it has been declining, and it has faced quite some challenges. The employment rate was 60%, and we started now, or we have invested and created 3,000 jobs there. And 84% of those 3,000 jobs are actually from local employees. That means we revitalize the community, and the community can start a new chapter that is now been started to be written. Romania as well, we just talked about it, the Nord-Est region, the NAST. Economic challenges, unemployment rate, we invested and built new facilities there and created 1.3 thousand jobs. Poland as well, the area in Slaskie and Dolno Slaskie, 12,000 jobs we created there. And also this region was way below the average employment rates. Spain, Aragon. In Aragon, we made significant investments in different areas, and I'm going to come back maybe to that later also a little bit. First, we started with 1,300 jobs here as well, which gives vital opportunities to people that live there, where we had an unemployment rate of almost 10%, 9.5%. We also invested in the Aragon region in AWS. So 15.7 billion euro investment is going into the region, and that is not just a big number, that is really transforming the whole region. That's a transformative investment in the region's future for generations actually to come. This is supporting 17.5 thousand jobs in local businesses, and until 2023, this will overall support the GDP of Spain by around 21.6 billion. In Lombardia is actually an area which has quite some significance from a business perspective. But also in this region, there are areas where we see employment challenges. And those reasons we invested, transforming those communities. So invested more than 4,000 jobs in this area. Independent studies show what those investments actually mean for those communities and for those areas where we invest. Specifically, this study from Ipsen shows that 95% of people say that Amazon in those regions is a real job creator, and 81% see more overall employment when Amazon comes in the whole region and more overall opportunities. And over 50%, more than half, see that their financial situation has improved in a way that they are now ready to make life-changing investment, life-changing projects, decisions, like starting a family, building a home, and so on. But we are not done. As I said, we are in Europe. We started in 1998, Germany and UK, and then many other countries, and there's so much more to come. It's so exciting. And we will continue to invest. We will continue to invest, and we will continue working with governments and with communities and ensure fair and competitive environment. We will be investing further in cloud computing, AI. And also, as we already announced, we will be investing 7.8 billion euro in the European sovereign cloud in Europe, for Europe. Nevertheless, or additionally to that, we are also separately investing, of course, a lot in sustainability. It's one of our biggest challenges. We have the climate pledge where we want to become neutral by 2040. But we are investing in Europe specifically 1 billion in sustainable transportation, decarbonization and electrification of the transportation mile. In Aragon, again, we already talked about Aragon, we also investing, for instance, in water projects. So that benefits 700,000 residents in this area. We're investing 1.4 billion in robotics and AI to make sure that our logistics, our facilities are safer and more efficient workspaces for everyone. Many technologies that we need for that and that we actually rolled out are also developed here in Europe. Many of them are developed in Versailles, in Italy, and then rolled out in Europe and partially even globally. As the EU focuses on strengthening competitiveness and economic resilience, we as Amazon, we are ready to contribute our expertise in digital innovation and, of course, in cross-border trade. We want to help small and medium businesses in Europe to benefit and leverage the single market, improve the single market, export and reach millions of customers, so that makes it easier for SMEs to grow. Let me be closing with a quote from Christian Poré, the president of the French Nord Department. Quote start. After suffering deindustrialization and the loss of mining, steelmaking, dairy and wool industry, the North needed new jobs. Amazon responded to this need with massive recruitment at the La Planck site, unprecedented in their volume and their openness. So this, as you can see, this is a story we write together. We write together with the communities, with the regions, and give hope and renewal for a better and bigger future. Amazon will stay committed and invest in being a great partner, investing in people, communities, technologies, and therefore shape the new tomorrow, build a prosperous, innovative, and sustainable European Union, and we do this together. Thank you very much.
You're going to join us on the panel, so please take your seat up there, and I'll invite my other two panelists up as well. Please take care on the stairs walking up. Thank you so much, Rocco, for those opening comments. So alongside him, I also have Maria Palacios Diaz, who's the director for the delegation of the government of Aragon to the European Union, and I have with me Ilaria Bassani, excuse me, who is the representative for the delegation of the Lombardy region to the European Union as well. And both of these regions were mentioned in Rocco's opening comments there. So let's get into this a little bit. The regions, we talk in Brussels all the time about how important the regions are as a thing, and they're not very often actually about what's happening in the regions so often. So Maria, to start with you, what role do the regions have, regions like yours, have in sort of defining European cohesion policies, and also designing the public-private partnerships that we hear about to boost the economic scale up in your regions?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for inviting me to this event, and good morning to all of you. Well, to reply to your question, I think that regions know the best what are their needs, and what they need to develop to thrive. So I think that the most important thing is that we should be active players, not only in the execution of these cohesion policies, but also in the design. Not only in the implementation, but also in the design, to be there from the very beginning. And for that, of course, we need that the future cohesion policy continues to be more flexible and more result-oriented and more attuned to these local realities. But going forward, and because cohesion policy, we talk a lot here in Brussels about cohesion policy and how important it is for regions, but what regions do back in our territories to thrive in these public and private collaborations? Well, in Aragon, we have an amazing mechanism which is called DIAs and PIGAs. The DIAs are the Declaration of Regional Interest, and the PIGAs are the plans and projects of general interest for Aragon. And I believe these legal instruments are fantastic because they enable to develop initiatives that have a significant territorial, economic, and strategic impact for the entire region. So what do? When we see an initiative like that, after field reports to, of course, check that it has an important impact for the economy of Aragon, what the government of Aragon do, is to commit to having the bureaucratic process that is involved in all these business processes, right? So it's a really good mechanism for companies to come to Aragon and to invest in Aragon, because we're going to put things easy for them, especially in the sense of administrative issues. And just to finalize with this question, please allow me to tell you a few of these examples, a few of these projects that were born under the PIGAS and the DIAS. First one are the large logistic hubs that we have in Aragon. We have Plaza in Zaragoza, we have Platea in Teruel, and we have PLHUEs in Huesca. We have the Teruel Airport. I will speak later about that because that's an amazing example. We have the Motor City in Alcañiz. We have, of course, the data infrastructure, including all the technological centers that have been proposed by companies such as Amazon Web Services, in this case, or Microsoft. And also initiatives like the Catalunya project in Andorra, which is in Teruel, because I don't know if you know that, but Andorra shares the name with a country and a small, well, not a small, but a village in Teruel. And this project is super, super interesting because it promotes the energy transition and the industrial revitalization in a region that was historically very coal dependent, and now it does it through renewable energy and green hydrogen production. So, yeah.
Loads going on. I mean, and this is it, but it requires those investments.
Yeah, exactly.
Ilaria, down in the Lombardy region, we heard as well, like Lombardy does have quite a lot of economic power and has traditionally, but there are issues. How do you think regions can be more involved, better engaged in cohesion policies, and also how those policies are managed?
Okay, well, first of all, good morning, everybody, and thanks for having me. And I think it's really important that we decided to focus this event on the regional level. Because just to answer really directly to your question, let me be really straight. The best way to keep, to better engage regions is just to keep them engaged. Because nowadays it's not so granted for the next future. You said we talk a lot about region in Europe, but nowadays we are facing a centralizing process. So my main concept is that there is no competitiveness without cohesion. So competitiveness is a mantra nowadays, and it has to be so. But we need to remember that competitiveness is built on the local level. So this is the main point for us, and this is what we are working on right now.
Yeah. Rocco, coming to you. You talked in your opening comment there about how Amazon works to build different aspects, sustainability, certain data centers, water projects. What are the best ways that you build jobs through them? What are the easiest ways to really improve a region with your investments?
Well, I think what is important when we invest in a region, it's not just that we put some money there and come up with a building and then give people jobs, but also keep being engaged. So in from our logistics center, fulfillment center, data center, there's a general manager, and they really want to engage in the community where they are. They support local kindergarten, the local fire brigade, and they're doing like parties with the village. So they're making sure that they're really part of the community, and that they employees feel at home, feel very, very proud working for Amazon there. And we see that, like we have like the vast majority of our employees is actually longer than 5 years with us already. And even where we invest new, we have a lot of employees that stay with us very, very long. And that is just one of the reasons, because we invest and really want to be part of the community, not just go there and now we are there and we can like take it off, but really want to be part. And that is important, because one of our leadership principles is also with scale comes responsibility. And we have some scale, and there we want to give back, and we want to make sure that that the investment doesn't stop the day we opening up a fulfillment center, a data center, or we opening up or working on a tree planting or water project. No, we need to keep investing and keep working very, very closely, as you said, like being really engaged with the community, and that is really helpful.
It's also your business case as well. It works
Sure.
if you're present and have.
If people like us, they buy more from us.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. Like it's true. It's true though, right? That's the deal. Maria, talk to us a little bit more about sort of how to structure a public-private partnership to make sure it's sort of impactful. Do you have? Can you dig in a little bit more on the sort of concrete examples from your region?
Yeah, of course. Well, first of all, I think that success in this kind of collaboration remains in three factors. The first one is to share, the public and the private sector, to share a long-term vision. Of course, to design and apply a rigorous plan from the beginning that involves all the actors, all the stakeholders. And finally, as I said, to create these legal instruments like this, such as the PIGAs or the DIAs. And going back to your question, a clear example, the airport of Teruel. The airport of Teruel was an infrastructure that was born under a PIGA and is currently expanding and growing amazingly. And it's becoming a technological hub in one of Spain's most depopulated provinces. So this is another example of how this kind of investment, this kind of design structure between the public and the private can help regions to thrive in both urban and rural areas.
Yeah, it's amazing. We heard a little bit from Maria about sort of smaller villages and making sure that investments are spread. What do you know about in the Lombardy region about making sure it's not, because you've got some big cities in your region as well. How do you make sure that the investments just don't flood into the big cities and leave the rural regions or the smaller towns without the investment to keep the region sort of propped up?
Well, you need a strategy. That's the first point. So Lombardy region is quite a big region. It's almost as big as a little country, 10 million inhabitants, 800,000 enterprises, which are mostly SMEs, but we also have big enterprises, and quite a vital ecosystem. But we don't have just urban centers like Milan. We also have small cities and rural areas, mountain municipalities. So in our regional sustainable development program, we talk about the idea of smart land, which goes beyond the idea of smart city. You don't need just a smart city, you need a smart land. So you need a territory which is technology advanced, interconnected at all levels. And you need to bring these opportunities to citizens all over the region. So to do that, you need to build infrastructures, both physical and digital, and you also need to give some advantages to companies that decide to invest in the less developed areas. So we identified 14 inland areas with a specific strategy to attract investment there. And that's one good point to start from.
Does it work? How well does that work?
It can work, yeah. But you need to keep people and companies engaged all the time. That's the big part of the work. And nowadays, you also have a lot of data and artificial intelligence that can help, because you can really start building data-driven policies. So you can monitor in real time the situation, and you can do that. Yes, I'm quite confident about that.
I don't mean that. I just mean that this is exactly it. You need to know what's working. Like as a region, you need to be like, okay, we're doing the right thing here. Okay, that hasn't worked. Not all projects work, right?
Yeah, sure.
And just following it. It's interesting you mentioned AI there. That's fascinating. Rocco, when you're kind of everywhere now, broadly as a company, how do you, in most of the Western world at least, how do you choose the regions that you're going to put investments in? How do you look at what you're going to do? Is it perhaps somewhere that needs, is it an advantage for a region if they do need a bit of an economic boost? It gives them a business case, or is it clearer structures from the regions like we've heard from Ilaria and Maria outlining? How do you look at it?
There are several factors, of course, influencing that. Like one of the factors is, of course, staying like very easily with a logistics center. There need to be a good connection, because a logistics center in the middle of the desert doesn't really help a lot. But also there need to be the workforce. So we need to have the workforce. And in fact, it is true that when we have more workforce and then a higher unemployment rate, it helps us. And it helps the people, so it's a win-win situation. We have the people to give them new opportunities and new hope and give them a future there. But it also helps us because it's easier for us to ramp fastly than like going into a region where you have a lot of competition, like in inner cities with like many other companies to find a workforce fast and deliver. Because our logistics centers, on average, like the fulfillment centers have like 2,000 people in this on average. So we need the workforce, and we need to then employ them and scale up fast. And this is, of course, an important factor. There are other factors that play, of course, a role. How can we engage with the community? How can we make sure that, for instance, even local things like we need a bus stop in front of our logistics center, because we want our people to be there and not like have to walk like for 5 kilometers. If we have a community that is very open to like, okay, what can we do to support you here? Then it's much easier for us to actually invest there and to build and to keep growing in those areas. So it's like as more as we can work together, as I said in the beginning, as more as we can work together on this, the more successful we both, like the regions and us, will be.
So interesting, these things that you talk about. And this isn't only when we're talking about regional policy and stuff like that, but we talk here in Brussels about all these things. Right, we're going to have 5 billion for that, 2 billion for that. And then you go somewhere and they're like, great, but like you say, there's no bus stop. So nobody can go, or if there's no portside infrastructure that's ready to take that stuff in, for instance, or whatever the different aspect is.
And partners. We work a lot with like local partners as well. This is not as we go there and all of a sudden. We work with local partners, local construction companies, local suppliers, local logistics companies. And if we have them and they are open to work with us, they are open like to engage with us and to grow with us, that makes it much easier. And that we have found, especially in the regions I mentioned earlier, very helpful and very successful.
And this is where the regions come in. They can immediately tell you what the problems are, immediately know what the issues of infrastructure or wherever that sort of investment needs to come in. Maria, sort of on that, let's talk. I asked it to Ilaria already, but the dimension of sort of making sure that the correct conditions are in place to make sure that it isn't just in these urban centres. Slightly on what we were following on from what we were talking about. What's your take there?
Well, first, I think that from the region side, I think it's important that we have a balanced territorial planning, right? As I have been saying during the entire event, it's important that we make sure that all major investments are well distributed within the territory. But it's also interesting and important that all these projects that we, from companies that come to our region, are accompanied by these complementary, let's say, projects. Like, for example, as you were mentioning, in my case, I will mention also, well, you would say quality digital access, like digital infrastructure, but also mobility infrastructure. But also, I think it's important, specialized vocational training. As you were saying, you need workforce, and that workforce needs to be skilled, right? So we should also be thinking on providing these skills and and this preparation. And well, I will also add to what my colleagues have said, like Aragon is a logistic hub and it's a technological hub. In technology, we are doing fantastic thanks to companies and their investments. In logistics, we are doing amazing as well, but we need that European policies and that European funds contribute to that growth, contribute to, or to help us to thrive in that. Those would be my key elements for this part of the debate.
Yeah, that's those structural funds and making sure they go into the right places is super important. Ilaria, talk to me a little bit about the relationship between business, the business community and sort of research institutes. What are you doing? I know you're doing quite a lot down there in Lombardy to get that connected. Oh, little introduction.
Oh, that's okay. Very nice.
There we go. We're back on the screen as well.
Yes, because as we said before, we have a number of SMEs and companies, and also a quite good research ecosystem with 13 universities, several research centers. But the big issue, the main challenge is to help them work together, because sometimes they just go on their own, you know. And so what we have is a policy mix, like the Lombardy's investment portfolio is a mix of small contributes for SMEs, starting from 5,000 euros for small enterprises, and then we support a big research and innovation project carried out in collaboration between SMEs, large companies, and research and innovation centers. And we spent a lot of our money of the structural funds for that. And there are also new call for tenders opening also for example, the STEP platform. So we chose to go with the European Union on these strategic technology platforms. So investments in deep tech, clean tech, biotech, things that can help European strategic autonomy and competitiveness. And also, aside from investments and financing, you need some tools. So I would talk about, for example, our regional technology clusters that can help a lot in building this collaboration, which are really useful also to reach the European direct funds. Because if you start building your consortium on the local level, on the regional level, then you can become skilled to approach more complex funds. And also we have an open innovation strategy quite developed, so an open innovation platform and places where researchers from industry and from universities can work together.
This is it. There's such a gulf sometimes between the funds that come out from the European Union on a load of different, especially research and innovation, and the guys that are inventing stuff. And if you put them together, they learn from each other. Basically, they learn, oh, there's actually a fund, you can apply for that, and they hear about it. And if they don't hear about it, they focus on their research.
And start speaking the same language, because sometimes people in academia, in universities, speak a different language from people from business.
And they also, this is exactly it, they sometimes, it's by the nature of their jobs, they don't know how to approach and explain what they're doing to policymakers who are not clear on this stuff. Really interesting. Rocco, well, let's talk about the sort of role of a big company like Amazon in supporting the objectives of European competitiveness. How do you see that?
Several aspects. So first of all, let's maybe take a step back. You talked a lot about SMEs. Also, we have on our stores, on our European stores, 225,000 SMEs that are selling actually through the Amazon stores and reaching millions of customers. So making it easier for them to grow and less bureaucratic is a big step, and that's where we work together with governments. One of the big things that we are so much looking forward to, hopefully coming in 27 as it seems right now, is the single VAT registration. So right now, as an example, like a seller from Austria who wants to sell their products to Spain, or the other way around. Somebody from Spain wants to sell to Austria and wants to, or to Germany and wants to store the product there, because people really want to have their products fast. If they want to have their product fast and more green, it's faster and greener if it's stored close to the customer. So you don't have to ship every single one through half Europe. So, but to do that, you need to register in every single country, the SME in everything kind of, which takes a lot of time and it's really expensive. So we've been fighting a long time for getting the single VAT registration actually for our small and medium businesses done. And it seems like right now we are at least on a good track to get this. So further investing in this is important. Another point is digital sovereignty. As I said, we are investing in AWS, in the European Sovereign Cloud, which is critical, working together, because we want to build the critical infrastructure here in Europe. We want to create the jobs here in Europe, and we want to build the cloud and the infrastructure for Europe to to give also, again, SMEs the possibility to use this and drive growth and innovation here. Robotics, AI, it's another field where we need to work together, and we need to find a good balance between not hindering innovation, but being very mindful, like how we safeguard AI and how we make sure that we don't strangle innovation, but make sure that SMEs have clear rules and that they know what they can rely on, and then invest in technology and innovation and AI, but still being safeguarded and being responsible in AI innovation. And the green transition is another one. As I said, we are investing in decarbonization, in electrification, in water projects, in tree planting, and other subjects. And this is also an area which is close to our heart, which we really want to do a lot, and where we need to work together with communities, but also with general legislation. So for us, it's just right now, it's also a crucial moment for like, how can we make sure that we build an environment where innovation for companies and an even playing field with fair competitiveness is built, and because the decisions we make right now will build the future for many, many years to come. So there are big opportunities, and this is why we love working together with the different regions, but also with central government and central legislation.
Yeah, sometimes I wonder to myself, like this, we're living through a very important part of human history right now, and this, like you say, yeah, the stuff that we're doing is going to leave big marks for many generations to come with this exactly, digital transition and the sustainability transition. Maria, talk to me about how Aragon, your region, is positioning itself related to this idea of strategic autonomy, related to EU policies.
Well, we are attracting all kinds of investments, both European and non-European. And since the beginning of 2024, we have attracted nearly 50 billion euros of investments, which is quite an important amount. We consider that we welcome in the territory all kinds of companies, European, non-European, because we think that perhaps non-European companies could set an example. That could be the first one. Could make European companies to say, well, Aragon is doing great. Like, it's an example. Let's go and invest there. So why not? And also, of course, as you were mentioning, the chain. The chain, like these big companies, can involve so many SMEs in all the chain, and could be European or, more important, from the region. So we are positioning ourselves that way. Like we receive all kinds of investments from both European and non-European companies. We also understand the importance of manufacturing in Europe of this strategic autonomy. But in any case, we are very proud that companies from around the world consider Aragon as a good region to invest and to settle.
Ilaria, talk to me about your policy demands. When you're meeting with people in the institutions here, what do you say you sort of want from them or need from them, and how do you connect with them?
Okay. Well, we try to connect with all the levels. So we talk to the Commission, we talk to our maps, which are very important in the European Parliament, and through the national representation, we work also with the Council, obviously. And what we are trying to do is, well, to keep the cohesion policy well alive. That's I already talked about that.
It's being repurposed in some senses as well.
Yes, yes. But for example, the midterm review, new priorities are good. I think it's a good thing. And but I'm talking about the post-2027 period. That's the main concern. From a money point of view, from the budgetary point of view, how much is going to be there, and from the governance point of view, because it's right. We need to simplify. We need to be more result-oriented, and that's good. But centralization is not a viable option. We cannot forget our roots. European Union was built on the cohesion policy, because the idea is, as I said before, that there is no competitiveness without cohesion. We cannot leave local behind, leave local realities back. And this is the main topic for us right now. And also, we've been working on the research and innovation point of view for a standing alone Horizon Europe program, next one, because we need to focus our investments in research and innovation in a very clear way. And what we are trying to do also is to bring business with us when we talk to the Commission, because they need to hear from the ground what's going on, and sometimes really specific needs. Because if you write a different word in the right regulation, you can change things. And so the other thing that we ask is do not over-regulate. That's a problem in Europe, a general one.
There is no sector of society or business at the moment that is not feeling that, I think.
Yeah, and I think that there were some damages in the recent past for the automotive sector, for example, and some excesses on Green Deal. But there are some correction in this regard. We are on a good track on simplification, I hope so, with all the omnibus and stuff. And yes, we need clear strategies, clear objectives, but also flexibility. I think that Europe, the Commission must say, we're gonna be there, we want to arrive there, but how we arrive there must be flexibility on a local level. That's a very important point for us.
Maria's nodding and agreeing.
Yes. Well, I completely agree with you. We don't support centralization, and we do support that there is this reduction or simplification and not over-regulation. However, I think it's also important that, well, regarding the money, the funds, okay? We are seeing new topics or new areas that are emergencies, such as the technology or the defense. And at least in Aragon, we consider that European funds should also cover those areas, but not in detriment of the cohesion policy. Meaning, in Europe, we have this problem. Every time that there is a new area, a new topic, or there is an emergency, we go to cohesion funds, right? Yeah. And that's a problem. So I think that the future cohesion policy should be very what's the word, very like protective of these funds. But at the same time, it's important that we find money to invest in all those topics or all those new topics, as I said, technology or defense, and that we have emergency funds, right? But not from the cohesion money. I don't know if I'm explaining very well.
Yeah, part of the problem, I think, or one of the realities of it is that cohesion funds are relatively flexible and can be moved and can be found and repurposed, and some of the language around where they can be used is vague, and the intention of that is so that it can be moved around the regions and repurposed in the industrial realities of each region. But that, like you say, it's a tempting pot to pick out of in that sense. Rocco, what are your demands? Or what are your calls on policymakers?
Well, it's simple and I guess, and to some degree we already talked about it. Firstly, it's strengthening the single European market. It's one of the biggest achievements we have, but there are still like big obstacles. I talked about the single VAT. There's also a difference in deposit schemes across Europe, which is really, really hard to like for small and medium businesses, and also for us to really cope across borders with it. There's differences in how we handle donations in every single country, which makes it not easier. So like really keep focusing and making a true single European market and investing in this. The other thing is also, I talk when we are living in the world of AI is growing, so like we need to make sure that we balance innovation and regulation, and that we have a good balance here to foster innovation. Because, as I said, like we are investing 1.4 billion in AI and robotics, which is not just fostering innovation, but it also helps upskilling the workforce in those specific regions. So making sure that we are not, and that goes back to your point, too bureaucratic here, and that we foster and help innovation. And then maybe the last one, especially for the regions, is the support of underdeveloped or challenged regions, the further support from the European Union for those regions to make sure that they also can thrive and have the ability to thrive, so then that we can work together as a business, together with the regions to actually invest in the regions, build the regions, that there are new opportunities. That has been a major part of our investment, and that needs to continue, and we need to maybe even double down on this.
Okay, Maria Palacios Diaz, Ilaria Bassani, and Rocco Breuninger, thank you so much for joining us on the panel. Let's have a round of applause. And as they take their seats, you can take their seats. So massive thanks for an open conversation. I think we've managed to dig into quite a lot of the major issues there. Apologies if there was some technical issues. I'm not quite sure, but I hope that the technical issues were resolved. And in the meantime, we're going to have MEP Andy Cristea, who's a member of the Committee on Regional Development in the European Parliament. He's a Romanian MEP from the S&D group. He's going to give us some final comments. So a round of applause for Andy Cristea.
Everyone. So it seems like you're cheating. You have these portable microphones. I should be speaking in the fixed ones. So I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be here with Amazon. And it won't come as a surprise to say that I have words of praise for Amazon, but not for the obvious reasons. And I would like to mention the fact that before joining the European Parliament, I was a member of the National Parliament in Bucharest, and in this framework, as a national MP, I was active at the Council of Europe, in the Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe, where I had the privilege to be the General Rapporteur for Science and Technology of the Council of Europe. And from this perspective, I had a structured dialogue with a lot of the tech giants. I've dealt with this very important report on the so-called metaverse and its impact on our society. And Amazon is a company, is a giant who calls you back. If you have requests, if you call them, they call you back, or they pick it up. If you write to them, they will write back to you. And this is something I really appreciate from my previous experience. Now, since I'm about to give you the final remarks, I will try not to be pathetic and say that we should start with the end in mind. We are a bunch of humans, politicians, media, businesses, should I say public administration. And I would like to ask you, looking in the room, in 70 years from now or in 80 years from now, because we have youngsters, what is our goal? For real, what is our goal? I mean, we have the options of choosing to be the richest men and women from the cemeteries, or we care about what kind of society we leave behind. And I think we should go for B, but it's just my opinion. Amazon is a technology company. It's a giant. And when talking about innovations, we have an innovation which refers to bits, computational processes, but also innovation in terms of atoms, creating atoms, industry, but also moving atoms, delivering to our doors the products, the physical artifacts we are ordering on Amazon. And it's a good work you are doing. I'm using your services, and I'm happy with it. But speaking about technology, I dare to ask you to think with me for a second and reflect on technology. Technology itself, is it a goal in itself? Or is it a mean, an instrument for achieving some specific goal or goals? And I very much enjoyed what you've put forward, Rocco. It's a soundbite you have used about the human impact. I fully agree with you, and I fully agree with the data-driven policies. It doesn't matter the color of the mayor, political color, of course. I mean, it doesn't matter if he or she is a liberal, a conservative, a social democrat, or a sovereignist nowadays, okay? What matters is to have that bus stop in front of the factory, in front of the Amazon facilities, because, of course, we are talking about your great company and what you have done in Europe. And you should be proud about what you have managed to achieve. And I dare to ask you perhaps a third question. In this world of ours, what kind of games do we choose to play? And everybody knows Prisoner's Dilemma. We can go for zero-sum games. It's us versus them. It's me versus you. It's a competition. But we also have cooperation games. And it's obvious what cooperation means. And because I'm mentioning cooperation, I have to double-click on these private-public partnerships. Because our institutions, national institutions, I dare to say even European and international institutions, are bleeding trust. They were set up, they were designed to function and to be relevant in an environment which is gone. Nowadays, all our institutions lost their previous held monopoly or semi-monopoly over the flux and the flow of information in our society, and information is not an easy thing. Information creates identities, information creates behaviors, opinions, and what is happening nowadays with all this turmoil, where actually everything is great, but nobody is happy, it's the effect of this huge revolution and transformation in terms of information technology. I'm coming from Romania, the country I know best, has unfortunately one of the poorest regions, because Romania had a very harsh history with the communists behind the Iron Curtain, and especially the northeastern part of Romania, close or bordering Moldova, is, to put it mildly, not a rich region, okay? And I have words of praise for Amazon because they have a very impactful footprint in that region, in Iași. You guys are creating jobs. You've put a lot of money in your investments, and you are adding and contributing to the human life of our citizens there. And this is something I really appreciate. In the end, I would like to read a few things because I've put it on paper what you just said, and it's highly relevant about single VAT registration. Single European market, indeed, should be strengthened, and I think our friends from the European Commission have this high on their agenda. Cross-border cooperation is important. We know how to do things inside our national states, but it goes without saying it's much more complex and much more difficult to cooperate not only at the international level, but also at the European level. It's tricky. And I dare to say in the end that as a member of the Committee of Regional Development, I have seen firsthand how targeted investments like Amazon's can transform economically challenged regions, such the regions I was just mentioning, the Moldova region in my home country. And I dare saying that Amazon investment pattern with over 50% of its workforce in economically challenged regions aligns perfectly with our EU cohesion policy goals of reducing disparities between European regions. I'm glad that I was part of this event today. Thank you so much for inviting me, and I speak from my heart. Congratulations for what you're doing, because this is what we should all do. We should have our goal clearly defined in our minds. It's about what we leave behind. We should cooperate. Of course, we know and we need to learn again how to play zero-sum games, because we like it or not, we are in a competition worldwide with the others, to put it just like that mildly. And in the end, I think this is my last phrase. We can win by simply out-cooperating the others. Congratulations, and thank you very much.
Indeed. So with that, we're going to conclude our event. Thank you so much, Andy, Christea. Thank you to all of our speakers. Thank you to everyone in the room and everyone who's joined us online. If you're online, good luck with the rest of your day. If you're here, please join us for a coffee and a sandwich. Cheers now.